horrible. This number is also very low.
Very low.
365.5.
You want to phone a friend? 377 they scored last year.
Yeah. So,
which
I think, and their offense was pretty bad last year. I think they could run back that pretty bad offense. And I think there's a world where the defense isn't as good and they get in some garbage time spots. I think the way to the over is just ignore the fact that Anthony Richardson died in the preseason game. Ignore the fact that Daniel Jones is probably going to be the week 1 starter now. He looks
pretty bad.
Who also looked bad. Riley Leonard is your guy. And we discussed this, Ryan. I think you're on VSiN. Riley Leonard to lead the Colts in passing yards at 16-1 is looking way more live. So
no way you can get that.
And
no way.
I was on with the JVT Money Moves.
No
and
way.
This was before the preseason game. And he goes, you shared this clip that you're out on the Colts. He's a Colts fan. And I'm like,
Poor guy.
I mean, I can give you all the stats and numbers, but the camp battle between Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones that's case closed. But 365.5 is very low, even for a bad team.
They said Anthony Richardson now will only miss a couple days.
Okay.
Dislocated, not broken.
But I think the more concerning than the injury was how he was just completely unaware of that guy coming off the edge.
Also, how clearly 2 people let that guy run right by them to take out Anthony Richardson. Well, perhaps they want Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. Kramer, what do you got? You got a 7. You paired that with the 2.
I wish we had a double down hand, Sean.
No, you could double down on that.
Cards. 2 of hearts. Eagles over 432 and a half.
Birds. Let's go. Hype them up, Kramer. Hype.
Well, I think we saw a complete outlier performance last year by the Vic Fangio defense. And as we've seen it across the rest of the league, basically an extinct form of defense falls back into extinction. I know we're recreating old extinct animals. We're doing Jurassic Park.
So maybe Vic Fangio defense with the woolly mammoths.
Maybe in 50 years we'll be talking about Vic Fangio's defense coming back. But for now, I think it goes back into extinction.
To destroy the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Which then would need regression is coming. Winter too is. But so with bad defense, they'll need more points. And that's where, even though Saquon Barkley ends up getting hurt a little bit, the passing offense of Jalen Hurts proves everyone. Actually, no. You know what? Tanner McKee comes in.
Oh, the Mormon missile.
And the Mormon missile slings it all over the yard. Sean's right. He is worth a first round pick, maybe 2 over 432 and a half. I guess I'll take it.
Great play, Kramer. All right, I'm sitting on a soft 14 against an 8. I got to take a card.
Got to take a card.
Now I got a 14.
All right.
We're up against it. Why don't you just give me another card?
Give me another card.
17.
Okay.
So I got to stay on a 17 against an 8 with the 3 of spades.
While you're taking your 3 of spades, we'll see what that is. I'll take my hit.
Okay,
19.
so you're sitting on 19. But yeah, we'll see what 3 of spades is. Flip the dealer over, Ryan. We got to play this out. Dealer has a 10.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm not feeling good. Tennessee Titans under was that 359 and a half?
Whoa, that's a low number.
Their offense is very bad.
That is a low.
Their offense is very bad. That offensive line has still not been fixed.
311 they scored last year.
And Cam Ward I like, but I don't like Bill Callahan. I think he's a bad coach. Kramer, what do you got? King of clubs.
King of clubs. Well, do we have, one last one. King of clubs in 20 seconds or less. Falcons over 399 and a half. Yeah, I mean, their defense is going to be trash again. I know they were hitting the preseason, but that's a telltale sign of a defense that isn't very good. Shooting fish in a barrel? No, thank you.
So you ended up winning. I lost, but we're all winners here because we played sports betting blackjack. When we return, talking to Scotty Rice Shell about some MLB picks for tomorrow.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Mm-mm. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Nina's Pierogi House is your home for the area's best variety of pierogies. Daily specials include the Polish platter, the Hungarian platter, stuffed cabbage, and halushki. Having a last-minute get-together? Lena's has you covered with a wide variety of frozen take-home pierogies and dumplings. Go to Facebook at Lena's Pierogi House to see the weekly lineup of available flavors for dine-in or carry-out. Catch the best at Lena's Monday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Tuesday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 20 North Main Street in Hubbard or call 234-254-8532.
Listening to WRDB, Western Reserve Digital Broadcasting, Youngstown, Warren, Salem, and around the world.
Western Reserve Radio is the Valley's online source for sports talk and local live events. Tune in and be a part of their live weekly shows, as well as all of the hard-hitting action of Youngstown Phantoms hockey, high school football, and the GDFL. Find them at westernreserveradio.com. Tune in and the Live 365 app to be a part of the area's sports conversation. Be sure to visit them on Facebook at Western Reserve Radio and on Twitter at WR_radio.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
If I could be you.
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes. time to kick back and listen to the Sports Page with your host, Pat Lucia, right here on Western Reserve Radio. You can call the show at 330-707-4202 and tell everyone what's on your mind in the wonderful world of sports. Now, here's your host, Pat Lucia.
I saw you.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia. Yeah, we're on. It's been a few weeks. We've been off. A lot going on in the wonderful world of sports. Talking too much about Shedeur Sanders off air, and we forgot we were supposed to be on the air. See, that's what happens when you're off for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's the summer. Got a lot to get to, though. Wonderful world of sports, Dave Clark. Last night, I think we should open it up. Shedeur Sanders. Man, Dave, he looked good.
Yeah.
Now he getting a lot of reps allegedly in practice. Yada, all the noise, and
he's not getting reps. He's only with third team.
Louis Riddick thought he was going to fail. Cleveland was going to set him up to fail.
Yeah, I mean the way what he was hearing Woods tell you that.
Right.
Like he was throwing to they say ball boys and employees.
Yeah. Right.
He wasn't even throwing the receivers all the time because he didn't have the people. So he was throwing to them.
This is what we saw. Shedeur Sanders has played a lot of football and a lot of college starts.
Yeah.
And Anthony Richardson has not had the college starts. You're seeing kind of the tale of two tapes here. Anthony Richardson is struggling. He's criticized. He got hurt. He's supposed to know allegedly the experts say, well, he should have figured out that blitz that he got hit on.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That he should have picked it up. He's got the hurt pinky finger on the throwing hand. Now, how does that evolve to what he's going to do the rest of the season. He needs, one thing is evident, everybody agrees, he needs a lot of reps. Yeah. Anthony Richardson should be playing pretty much all of the preseason, get Daniel Jones in. But Anthony Richardson, you invested the number 4 pick overall. Yeah. He's been injured. He hasn't had the reps. He didn't have the reps in college. People say you should have stayed in college at least another year to get the reps. He didn't do it. Now you see a young man who's got a lot of potential, just literally struggling before your eyes. Mm-hmm. And the Colts are in a box here because you've got to stick with this guy, or how long do you stick with this guy? And then it's like, when do you turn it over to Daniel Jones? You're getting into this. We talked a lot about this previously. You need to win football games. And in the NFL, you just don't have the luxury of having your quarterback, quote, develop and lose you football games.
Right.
Shedeur Sanders is on the other end of the spectrum, where he has played so much college football, so many starts at the college level.
Yeah.
He stepped in last night, evidently no problem, looked very comfortable, moved the team down the field, made the reads, did what he needed to do. He didn't really make any bad mistakes. He made, minor errors, but I mean, He
overthrew a guy.
He overthrew the guy, but
as far as big time mistakes, he didn't do
none.
That.
He hit the beautiful 2 touchdown passes, just beautiful pinpoint passes. Hit the guy right in the hands. You couldn't have, and they were good. The guy wasn't really open. The one, he had a very, very limited window, and he basically, as you say, thread the eye of the needle
over the linebacker.
Yeah,
and right before the defensive back can get there.
Right.
That's what they call layering. Just what you just said. That's what they call when you can throw the ball and layer. Well, he did.
And he made, to me, outside of the one touch pass he overthrew the guy, every other pass he made right on target.
Yeah. And I think the reason he overthrew, he was just so relaxed.
Right.
So he just tossed it out there, but it was just too much on it. And it was earlier in the game.
Right.
He's a calm guy, but you still got to be juiced up.
Oh, yeah.
It's the NFL. I'm juiced up a little bit. And he just overthrew him. But he didn't show no reaction, had a fit about it. He just went to the next play. That's the thing that I always liked about him. And I like about 4 guys I've seen in college. And one is at the FCS level. Cam Ward, we want to see how he plays.
Right.
But he's another guy that never got really so flustered. Right. I didn't see it. You didn't see it out of Shedeur. I didn't see out of Riley Leonard, who played for Notre Dame. Another guy that used to get banged up. I mean, but he just keeps playing. And Cam Miller, who won for North Dakota State the championship, showed that. And I think he's going to move in front of Aiden O'Connell. Yeah. I think he's going to be a backup because he just looks. Yeah. He looks like he's already a pro.
Yeah, he looks like. Yeah.
I mean, he just already looks like he's supposed to be in the NFL. So we'll see what happens. But we was talking about when you said that 50. I mean, you had 50. I think you said 50 college starts for Shedeur.
Yeah, Shedeur Sanders.
And the way he played, and people got to remember, and you don't want to get too
because it's
preseason, but that was against the first team defense because Carolina came out with first team offense and first team defense. So they didn't start bringing in new guys until late in the second quarter on defense, almost to the second half. The offense played through a little bit of the second quarter, and then Brian Young and them was out. But they actually played their first team D, and he looked calm. And I want to see Dylan and Pickett play too. I mean, I think it's Flacco's job, but as we said, I think what is he 40, right?
I believe Joe Flacco was 40 years old.
40 years old. So I mean. He could still sling that football in his shoulder camp. Ain't nothing wrong with his arm, but you got to be concerned about blitzes and getting hit from the blind side and different. You got to keep him upright. As long as you can keep him upright, I think they can be okay. You let Shedeur learn,
right,
and not be pushed into
this will be right.
That's what you do, and I think you fight it out whether you keep Pickett or trade Pickett while you can get something, and still keep Dylan Gabriel if you want. If you want to keep some young guys on your, but if Dylan Gabriel looks terrible, then I guess you go ahead and release him then. Maybe get him to the practice
or you
squad.
put him on practice and see if anybody, but then anybody can sign him.
Yeah, that's the thing. They can get him off of there.
What Shedeur has had 50 games. He had 50 college starts. His college stats are very impressive. He had a 70% completion in college. He was 1,267 completions on 1,808 attempts. He had 14,353 yards. He had 134 touchdowns and really only 27 interceptions.
Over 4 years.
Over 4 years.
Yeah, playing.
So you see this, and then in Colorado, he actually he had 24 games at Colorado. Now, the naysayers, the haters always say, well, Jackson State, blah, blah, blah. Well, he had 24 starts at Colorado Division I school. For the haters out there that want to criticize, oh, he played for Jackson State, okay. For the haters out there, he still played in 24 games at Colorado, still threw for 7,364 yards, 64 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. What this has basically shown, we have talked about this, he can play the position. He's got the starts in college.
Right.
He's ready. He's NFL ready. Showed you last night, preseason, he walked in like a veteran to me, not even fazed by any of it. Low key, moved the team down the field, made pretty much all the passes he needed to make. And I'm just thinking in the back of my head, this is the guy they let go to the 5th round. Well, because they believed all the noise, all the Twitter crap, everything about him. Everybody bought into that, yada, yada, yada. Well, right now, if you are the Cleveland Browns, I know it's early. I don't want to get too carried away because it's only one game.
That's right.
But if he continues to play anywhere like this, you're going to keep him. You're not. I know one thing you won't do. You're not putting him on the practice squad. He'll be gone, because if you decide if he plays this good, he's not going on the practice squad. He's going to be probably backing up. In my eyes, he'll be backing up Flacco.
Right.
If you're the Browns, because you see this last night, you just got a diamond in the 5th round because of Twitter noise and all the other crap. We saw it with Marino dropping in a draft. Brady dropped in the draft. They didn't even know Brady existed. And Shedeur, everybody kind of bought in all that noise, realizing this young man can play the position.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a lot of noise, too, because not just him. It seemed like they had a vigilante out for his dad. We don't like Deion because he's always saying something. Or he's going to interfere. And Kevin Stefanski said the only thing that Deion ever called and says, thank you for giving my son the opportunity to play. And hasn't heard a thing from Deion.
No.
He won't even don't even really talk to his son during the camp that much at first, because now towards his game he did.
He did.
But during the camp he tried to just stay away and just let him learn on his own.
All the noise.
But all the noise before was that he's going to interfere
Deion's
with everything.
Be the helicopter parent telling the coach what to do.
Yep. Everybody
they
said
all bought that.
It didn't. Yeah. And they bought it.
They all bought it.
Hook, line, and sinker. Yep.
And so everybody was afraid. No, I don't want to draft this guy.
I really think that's why he dropped.
Oh, I don't doubt it at all.
You can't have a guy play that well in college.
Yeah.
Unless he done did some type of egregious thing out there. He got a rape case. He got in some kind of, something crazy for him to drop.
Massage parlor.
Yeah. He had an incident of, over and over, all of his guys. I mean, whatever.
And you hear, this is the thing, they interview him, and they interviewed him at the game last night, and he's like, humble as, get out. He's just, no, I'm just doing a good job, and I got a game by game, I'm not saying anything. I'm just playing the game. I got to do what I got to do. And, and obviously, he knows the playbook. He did well last night, calling the plays. Again,
that was another thing. There you go. I'm glad you brought that. Remember they said, that
thing with the Giants. Yeah,
he don't know the playbook. He can't determine.
It's like they want. I've said this many times. If these teams don't want you, they will find a reason why. They will dig and dig and dig until they find something they think is a tangible reason not to draft the player. Mm-hmm. And then we've seen this time and time again where teams will talk themselves out of drafting players that are really good, but they will almost literally find something they think is there that's not. And then we see the other flip a coin where they fall in love with these players and they're not that good because they want them to be good. So they actually make the player a lot better than they actually are.
Right.
So we see that end of the spectrum. Then we see the other end of the spectrum, which is the Shador side of where they will find a way not to draft you. Based on his statistics alone and his numbers and all the games he's played, he should have been at least a second round pick or late first round.
I can see him saying, especially they was talking about him being that early in the first round. You think somewhere in the first round, but let's say he didn't. And he came a second round early.
An early second.
Like Will Levis was.
Yeah.
He was a guy that you thought maybe at the tail end of the first, but he went second round. But you mean to tell me fifth round, and it looked like it was going to go further than that. It was just like shocking that the Browns picked him because you knew just 2 rounds earlier they took Dylan Gabriel, which was kind of shocking to me too. Because there was still some other guys on the board. Even though Dylan Gabriel, I will say, has a very good college career. There's no doubt about that.
Well, you could, right.
But one of the things, the biggest complaints in Cleveland for a minute was they had short quarterbacks with Manziel, even Baker. They said, Baker does well, but he's a little short. So why would you get a guy that's way shorter than Baker then? Why would you do that? So, you messed up when you allow Baker to leave too early. He played while he was injured. You should just see what happened. Maybe you didn't give him his 5th year. You didn't pay for his 5th year.
No, they didn't want his 5th year.
Okay, play him through it and see what happens. Yeah. But you didn't. And now he's off to better land.
Right.
Now will they mess this up? That's the thing that worries me because it's the Cleveland Browns. I hate to say that. Will they do something? Let's say, and I hope he doesn't. Shador comes out and just has a bad game or something. Now they have something to talk about. Okay, we got to get rid of him. And then he goes somewhere else. Somebody picks him up, and he performs like crazy. And we look at in Cleveland, we still looking for a quarterback.
And they're still
and they do think that they're in great shape because next year we'll just go get Arch Manning.
Well, no.
Which I always still keep saying, let Arch play 2 years.
Well,
get the starts in.
Well, that takes us to what opens up the door to what his grandfather, Archie Manning, said. He came out and said, Arch Manning will not be, he's playing this year and next year. He's not coming out after this year. He's playing another year. According to the father, Archie Manning said, Arch Manning, the grandson, will play 2 years.
Yeah.
2 more years. He's playing
just giving him
this
the right
year
advice.
And next year.
That's right.
So he's not, he said he's not, he won't be in the 2026 draft. He's not going to be there because he's staying another year at Texas.
It only makes sense. He come out then with 30-something starts. He'll be ready.
And he'll be ready. And according, at least with, the Mannings, obviously he doesn't need money. And on top of it, now with NIL, he's making a boatload of cash money in Texas anyway. So why would he bother? He doesn't obviously need money, but now with NIL, he's actually getting paid a lot of money to stay there.
Yeah.
And Texas will probably give him more money to stay another year.
That's right. And it doesn't make any sense for him to come out.
Right. He is,
get himself,
right.
his feet planted, and he's ready to go. He'll be a plug and play guy. He'll be ready.
Right. He'll be
First
ready.
pick, and you can start him. You got to start him.
It's the same reason why Shedeur Sanders stayed as long as he did and played 50 games in college, because his father was Deion. He didn't need money.
Yeah. Well,
and obviously, his last year, he was getting NIL anyway. Yeah. And he probably stayed. If he could have stayed another year, he'd make more money. But
they said he could have.
He could have stayed another year.
That, COVID year.
The COVID year. He could have got the COVID year.
Yeah. But he already had 50 starts.
But he already had 50 starts. He was ready.
But people still saying he should stay another year, because now he can have another year at that level of playing college football.
Yeah, he could have.
He could have.
And he was going to make NIL money.
Oh, yeah.
To stay another year.
Oh, yeah.
But he came out, and again, here's a guy with all the starts now you want. And sadly, on Anthony Richardson, on the other flip side of the coin, here you see a young quarterback who's got, potential, and you see the potential, but he's had bad luck with injuries. On top of it, he just hasn't been able to get on the field enough to get the starts he needs. He didn't have them in college.
Right.
So he's kind of in a tough. Well, and that gets us to the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
We're a little behind here, but I love this.
I went to that one.
You went, okay. Yeah. Now, Dave Clark, the 2025 Hall of Fame game drew 6.9 million viewers on TV. One of the highest. It surpassed the 2021, which was the highest since Dallas and Pittsburgh 2021. But actually, it drew better than actually when people wonder, well, what does that mean? That actually drew higher than NBA playoff games. It actually, get this. This is what amazes me about football, NFL football too. The game outranked the NBA Finals. And only 2 NBA playoff games prior to the finals drew a larger audience than the Hall of Fame game. That actually outdrew the NBA Finals. This is a Hall of Fame game that doesn't mean anything, right?
Right, doesn't mean anything. Sometimes you don't even get any starters in there.
But I'll tell
NFL.
you one thing. What I think, I'll tell you the reason why I watched the game. I watched the whole game.
Yeah, I know. That's funny.
I watched that entire game. Reason why I watched that game is I like the Chargers. I like Harbaugh, but I wanted to see Trey Lance play.
Yeah, I did.
I'm enamored with him. I'm kind of enamored with Trey Lance is because...
Does that look like a different guy?
He looks 180 degrees different. But when you take Trey Lance and you see his career with the Niners... He really never got a legitimate shot. The only game he got to play in was the monsoon game in Chicago, where it rained, it poured, and he played the one game. He didn't play horrible, but nobody played good because it was a horrendous game to play in. Then he hurt his ankle the next game and out for the season.
Right.
And then he never got back into the
in the mix,
never got back into the mix, and they shipped him off to Dallas, and he was lingering there under Dak Prescott, so he never went anywhere there.
Yeah,
and I always thought that here's a guy that did. Again, he didn't have the college starts,
That's
but
true. That's
another
true.
guy. But then you're looking at the way he played in the Hall of Fame game, and you're thinking, man, this guy actually is a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, I'm looking at how he threw the ball. See, not about there's playing, but Detroit played some of theirs, had their
right. They had their starters in though too. Some of the defense,
yeah, and he was just
he moved
the ball. The passes were perfect.
Yeah,
he looked like an NFL quarterback, whereas before he was like scattery.
Right.
Now, is that the extra years of learning? He was behind Dak and Cooper Rush in Dallas. That helps. Shanahan, I don't know, but they call Shanahan the guru. Or is it part of all things? You got some help down there in Dallas, learning behind Dak and Cooper Rush, and then goes to a quarterback-friendly coach in Jim Harbaugh, who always does something with quarterbacks, no matter what.
And that's what I think it is. I think it's a combination of what you just said. Yeah. And I think the icing on the cake or the capper is Harbaugh, San Diego Chargers. We know
it's San Diego.
Bottom line is he's in with a quarterback-friendly system and a coach that I think Harbaugh knows how to tailor game plans to quarterback strengths. I think he's the best, one of the best in the business that does it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See it time and time again. But he put that game plan in. He's watched Trey Lance play. I think they wanted to sign him. Dallas released him. And I think Harbaugh knows that this kid has potential. And we watched him, Hall of Fame game. I watched he played the whole game too.
Yeah.
He played the entire game. I know it was a blowout, but I loved watching that game, and I like watching Trey Lance play. And I'm thinking
he should be the backup.
And he should be your backup.
He should be.
Taylor Heineke's probably going to be third string, but Lance should be your backup. Shador should be the backup to Flacco, I think, but it's early yet.
Yeah. I want to give Gabriel, and I want to see what Pickett looks like.
Right.
I could tell that Pickett was a better quarterback when he had to take Hurts' place.
Yeah, in Philly.
And they played Dallas.
Right.
You could see that he's just a different guy. Now, is it the system? Could be the players that was around. You got a lot of good players around you, too. Explosive players that around you in Philly, so that helps you. So, we had in Dylan, this to be him as an NFL quarterback. We don't know. So, you still hear talk about them saying that they might carry all four on the roster. Unprecedented, but can happen. They could do it because they can take away from another position, they said, that they are very deep in, and they can take away from that and keep the quarterbacks on the roster. That'd be something.
That's the music. First quarter already in the books. Saturday morning sports page. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. Come back. We got a lot to get to today in the world of sports. Talk a little about prop bets. NFL football. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. We're back on the Saturday morning sports page after this timeout.
Here's a fun fact for you. The average chameleon can point their eyes in two different directions. On the other hand, the average human can't. So unless you're a chameleon, there's absolutely no way you can focus on texting and driving at the same time. So don't do it, unless you're a chameleon.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Each year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many will be serious. The majority of falls happen at home, so remove things that could make you trip and install handrails to keep you steady. To learn more about the steps you can take to help prevent a fall, please talk to your doctor. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or medicaremadeclear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
Yep.
Well, I think I'm Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, back Saturday Morning Sports Page. Quarter number 2 in the books. No, I said quarter number 1 is in the books. Quarter number 2 is just starting here, Dave Clark.
Mm-hmm.
A lot going on, like we've talked about in the wonderful world of sports. I think the exhibition season is just starting. For some reason, I don't know what it is personally, but I'm kind of into this year.
Yeah, I know. No.
I mean, prior years I didn't care.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is about this exhibition season in the NFL. I watched
Did you watch the Ravens?
I didn't watch the Ravens.
I watched that.
I missed that one, but I watched the Browns. I watched Shador. I had my tablet. I had the game on outside watching it. And I was watching Shador play. I saw every play. And then I watched Trey Lance and the Chargers. Yep. I watched every play of that game. I didn't shut it off when the Chargers were. No, I wanted to see Trey Lance.
I don't know what it is about the season.
4 quarters. For some reason.
And I'm ready tonight to start checking around.
You got Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I want to watch that tonight.
Yep.
So, and then the Giants are on today at 1. I probably not sure I'm going to get to that one. But the point, and Jackson Dart will get to play a lot.
So, yep.
They have to figure that out. They got to play him. Mm-hmm. On my eyes, I'm a Giant fan. But you really got to have Jackson Dart in there and let him get a lot of reps to see what you have. First round pick. And you got to see, is this guy, what do we have here? Let him play literally, let Russell Wilson, I don't think Russell Wilson's even playing in today's game, Buffalo. Josh Allen, I believe, is not playing. But the point is, I think they haven't come out. They've said Jackson Dart's going to play. The question is he going to start?
Yeah.
Well, to me, I'm a Giant fan. I want to see Jackson Dart every play today against Buffalo. I don't need to see Jameis Winston. And maybe if you want to throw Jameis Winston in to break a sweat for a series, great. You should have Jackson Dart.
You already know what he can do.
You know him.
And he can definitely be your backup.
He's your backup.
Yep.
With Wilson, we know that.
Yep.
You're a Giant fan. You want to see Jackson Dart, and you want to see a lot of Jackson Dart.
And see if he could be the guy to take over.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because that's your future.
Yep.
He's your first. You moved up in the first round to draft him. You passed on Shador because that's going to haunt. I'll tell you one thing.
That might haunt a lot of people.
It's going to haunt a lot of people.
If
Shador Sanders plays really well and he actually gets into the regular season and he looks like the guy in Cleveland.
Cleveland would go 8-9 and he's the starter and they thought they went to the Super Bowl.
You got it. You have it. Because you got your guy.
Yeah, because that's what they look at. They'll look at
all you got.
What he done did. Our defense is terrible. We need this. We need that. They won't be talking about we need a quarterback. They've been saying that for so long.
That's the same thing with Giants. If Jackson Dart is the starter and you could see this is the guy, he's got this is your starter, and they go 8-9 or even 7-10, they got a brutal schedule. But if they go 7-10 and you got Jackson Dart and you could see he's going to be your guy. He's the rookie. He's making the plays. He's doing everything. Then you're looking at it saying, you're happy. You're like, because you got your quarterback now.
Right.
And we all know the reason why, if you're going to win in the NFL, number one, you got to have a quarterback. Right. You have to have a very good quarterback. If not a great one, but you have a really good quarterback to win in the NFL. So that's all you care about if you're a Giant fan or a Brown fan, is if you see Shador start to come out. And whether or not he's a 5th-round pick, it won't matter. If he's the starter and he's playing great, you're happy. You don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people got to have more of a mentality of Pete Carroll, who did not care when he spent all that money on the quarterback that I forgot his name, came out of Green Bay. They got him in free agency back in the day in Seattle.
Matt Flynn
paid all that money, big money. and Pete Carroll got into, I guess, with the front office and said, hey, I'm out there every day with these guys. He's not better than in this third round pick we got here, this Russell Wilson guy. This guy is off the charts. We have to start him. And the rest is history. No, we never even heard of Matt Flynn no more after that. He went nowhere.
No.
He was done.
No.
He got him a nice contract.
Oh, he got a good deal.
But he was not the guy.
No.
And Russell Wilson took them to two. He should really have 2 Super Bowls. But
he should.
Yeah, he really
should. We know
should,
that.
But things happen. But you got to have guys that have guts to say, hey, and I even got to give some props to New England too, because they were trying to think of all kind of things. Get Bledsoe back and get him healthy so he can get back in there. Once Brady was in there, then the coach finally said, you know what? Just forget it. No. Just leave Brady in there. We're just going to stay with Brady and not switch back to Bledsoe or nothing, and the rest is history. That's what you got to. You got to have guys got guts to go ahead and take it. Well, I even say at the time, Dallas, I'm going to give him credit. Anything, I don't want to give Jerry Jones any kind of credit or anything.
But we got to get to that, by the way.
But I'll give him credit. When they seen Tony Romo's arm all of a sudden turn into rubber, and he was just getting injured every other week, they finally said, let's go with Dak. Let's just go with Dak. And he played well enough to be their starting quarterback. You got to do that. You have to. You can't just keep guys there, this revolving door every year. You're not going to win in NFL. This is not college football.
No,
this is completely different. You can lose your guy, bring a guy in, and you're okay. And you may be okay. You can't do it in the NFL. It can't be a revolving door quarterback. You got to have a guy. And not just a guy, like they said, a jag. You can't have just a guy. You got to be the guy. And that's what you got to do. And I agree with you. If Russell Wilson, you want to keep him healthy, keep him healthy. I'm all with that.
You got to keep him
James
healthy.
Wilson, you know what you got there too. Play Dart the entire game.
You should.
And if
Jackson
you don't
Dart.
play, or Jackson Dart, and then let him play, and then maybe you can bring in DeVito later. Because
Danny DeVito.
Because you know what? We joke about him, but one thing I will say about him, he's a guy that should be in the NFL. He's not horrible.
No, he's not.
And he got guts.
He plays hard.
Yeah, he plays hard. And he got guts. He stands up in there.
He stands up. He plays hard.
And that's like some other guys I've seen be wondering why they even in the league.
No, he plays. DeVito plays good.
Yeah. Yep. But you can get some of these other guys, it's just a waste of time.
No, I mean, getting back real quick, Russell Wilson, when he got into camp, he took over.
He did?
When Seattle drafted him in the third round, they had Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn was the guy. After 1 week, Russell Wilson was his team. And it wasn't even really a debate because you could see Russell Wilson came in all prepared, knew everything, and he knew evidently, Russell Wilson studied that playbook, knew the playbook when he got drafted, or, he studied that playbook the day he got drafted. He came into camp. He was more than ready to go, and he just took over.
Yeah.
And he could make all the plays, the reads. He was like a veteran, and he's a rookie. And that's why it was like after 1 week, Pete Carroll, and your point, the front office was probably upset because they just gave Matt Flynn at that time a pretty good contract.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter because Russell Wilson was going to be the guy.
Right.
And Russell Wilson just took over the team. He had the leadership skills, everything.
They all gravitated to him.
And it just all went to him. And he knew what to do, how to do it. He knew the offense. He made all the plays, the reads. He was like a veteran that they drafted. He was another guy that played fifth year at Wisconsin. He was NC State.
That's right.
Then he went over to Wisconsin for a year.
In his graduate year.
And then he had that fifth year, and he played. Again, we get back to how many start Russell Wilson. When these players, and that's why Arch Manning is staying 2 more years at Texas.
And he needs.
Because Archie Manning came out and said he's not going to be in the because they're already saying he's going to be the number 1 overall pick in next year's draft.
What pressure to be putting on him?
And again, the grandfather came out and said, no, he's not going to be in the draft. He's staying another year at Texas. And obviously all the people in Texas are down there doing handstands and love that because now they know we're going to have this guy for 2 more years. We're just ecstatic as, and we're going to watch him play 2 full years.
Yeah.
But then, Arch Manning, the grandfather, Archie Manning, is looking at it. Why would we push it? Arch doesn't need to be pushed into the NFL.
Right.
He doesn't, like I said, we talked money's not an issue. He's got NIL, which is probably going to be paying as much as the rookie contract in the NFL, if not more than a rookie contract, especially down in Texas.
That's right.
Where, they're going to be, especially he can negotiate another year and they're going to give him, he might make 20, 30 million in his pocket in next year or even in this year. But the point on it is he has no motivation to play in the NFL because he doesn't need to.
Right away. That's right.
Right away. He can wait and play to get 2 years, get 2 full start years under his belt, which is probably going to be close if he, depending on how they do, could be 30 games.
That's right.
Close to 30.
Yeah.
If he gets into the playoffs and they go and they win especially if they win a national title, which they're favored to do, you've got to figure that he's going to have at least 25 to 30 starts under his belt. And again, look what it did for Joe Burrow when he stayed that extra year at LSU and led him to a national title. He even said he had to learn an NFL playbook in the LSU 5th year.
Yep.
I think Brady was the offensive coordinator, and Burrow had to learn an NFL playbook. And look what it did for his career. He was way ahead because he stayed that extra year. If he would have come out, he even said, I wasn't that good.
Yeah.
He would have been like a 3rd or 4th round pick, and he might have gone to a bad team, a bad situation, and struggled. But he played that year at LSU, got a national title, looked like the great player that he is, and the rest is history. But the point is, we always come back to these players, and now you're looking at maybe a Trey Lance could potentially salvage his career with Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And you never know. The sad part I like the Chargers, and you never know. With an injury, he's your backup now.
Yeah.
With Herbert, Herbert's had his injuries, so you need in the NFL. We've talked. You need backups anyway.
Yeah, you need.
And if you've got Trey Lance looking like, hey, this guy could be really a good backup,
and you go, that's what you do. So, it was good to see Trey Lance play. I said that guy is looking so good out there. I'm watching.
He made all the plays, all the reads, and he really played.
And it's deep outs. He's dropping it like they do that drill where they drop it in the bucket, and he was just dropping it right in. Yeah, confident. He was confident. You could see his confidence, but you could see, for the game, we wanted to see if Harbaugh do his normal.
Yeah, because you were at that game.
Yeah, banging them, and then he getting them guys ready, talking to them. He's got his quarterback. He's talking to him. He's just a guy that's quarterback friendly. And everywhere he's coached, the quarterback has been able to do what he needs them to do. And sometimes even those quarterbacks, you'll wonder, well, can they be any good? And then they go to the next level, they be pretty good because of this guy teaching them the nuances of playing quarterback. And they say, even at Michigan, he would teach them the nuances of playing NFL quarterback, even though he might be a run-heavy team, which he always was in Michigan. Run the football.
Yeah, he always ran.
He didn't throw the ball a lot.
Control the ball. He always wanted to control the line of scrimmage.
Yep. And that was his thing. So, but he taught him NFL style of being an NFL style quarterback. So guys are able to go from Michigan, go in the NFL, and then kind of surprise you because you don't really see that when they're at Michigan. But Trey Lance, it was good to watch. And people were looking at all the Colorado people they said about Shedeur, then they thought about on the other side, Jimmy Horn was playing receiver for Carolina, and they could see how explosive he was. And then when I watched the Ravens game, Javonte Webster, who was the other receiver for Colorado. First time he got the ball, he got a punt, ran it 13 yards. He was all excited. The next one, he takes 87 yards for a touchdown. This right then you knew there's our punt returner. Even though we got a good one, but we know that the one we want him to play receiver more now. Here's our punt returner. Colorado had a lot of good players. So we'll see today. I think Jacksonville plays today. So we'll see Travis Hunter. They said he's going to play on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
And
that's right.
Yes. So, it's just a lot of talent that came from there. I definitely was happy for Shedeur because when you see a guy take the shots that he was taking from guys, national radio, local radio.
It was just all
everything.
Pure, unadulterated.
And then when I would hear some of the guys saying, I said, these guys have never even met this guy. They going by whatever they hear. And even we have to report or talk about what we hear. But sometimes I just don't, I don't buy into some of those things, some of the stuff that they be saying. I never thought that really Deion was going to be calling teams and interfering with the coaches. And I just said, I don't think he's going to go there. He's a dad. So what do? Yeah, you're going to be a dad. You're going to try to nurture your son. You're going to try to get what's the best for him. So you are going to be saying some things. But once the process is done, now it's time for him to grow up and be
He's got to let him go. Yeah, he's got to let the son.
And I believe that he would. He's able to do that.
And like they said, he called Stefanski and thanked Stefanski.
Yeah, that's what Stefanski said. He said that's the only thing Deion has thanked me. He said, "I thank you for giving my son an opportunity."
That's it. Well, he took advantage of the opportunity last night.
Yeah, he did.
And again, I think a lot of it goes down to look at his college stats, look at his starts, look at his completion at 70% in college.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear these people, well, there were all the little short passes. He's completing the ball. That's the key. He's throwing the ball. He throws the ball down the field. He makes the plays.
And that's the thing I kind of didn't understand totally because that's what they did. So they did hear that.
I heard that. I heard somebody, they said, well, in that offense, he had all those short passes and, you take advantage. I go.
But I'm up here watching Colorado go deep ones.
Right.
We're seeing, they did do those little crops.
Yeah, but he's hitting
people deep down
That's
the
what
field.
I mean. Every time I watched him play, he was pretty much completing everything.
Yeah, bombs, everything.
Bombs, everything. He completed that's what I mean. I did think
I'm like, we watching the same thing or what's going on?
I think I hate to say it, it's the haters.
Oh, it is.
They just want to find a way. There's people that like Deion and there's the haters of Deion and they're just going to spew all this crap out because they've got the Deion hatred syndrome.
Yeah.
They don't like him. They don't like collar. They don't like the guys wear the jewelry. They don't like that.
Yeah.
I read a book. I'm going to go way off script here just a little bit. I've just been on a roll. I'm reading a good book about New York baseball, the history of New York baseball back from the 1800s, working into the 1900s. Talk about gambling and baseball.
I bet it's back
then. My God, gambling. They fought. They beat. They would assault the players, assault the managers. The Frank Chance, who was the manager of the Cubs, a fan punched him in the throat, and he fractured the cartilage in the pipe, and he couldn't talk. And I'm reading this book, and the drinking and the gambling is just unbelievable. And then now they're going back and looking at other games, big games that they think they didn't make sense, and they think whether or not they threw them. They all talk about the White Sox World Series that the White Sox threw in 1919, but there's these other games before that, big games that the teams lost and guys dropped the ball. And they're questioning whether or not they threw the game.
Mm-hmm.
And but the other book I finished was called Tigerland, written by Will Haygood. He was Miami University, and it's about 1968-69 Columbus East. Ed Ratliff, Dwight Lamar.
Okay.
Dwight Bo Lamar that played for Southwest Louisiana, and Eddie Ratliff. They called him Rat in the book. That's what his name was, Rat in the book. Mm-hmm. His nickname was Rat. Played for Long Beach State and Tarkanian. Mm-hmm. Well, this blew my mind. Dwight Lamar, Bo Lamar, was like, he played for the Lakers. He played NBA. Great. He could score, shoot the eyes out of the basket. Mm-hmm. If he would have played today, I'm convinced he would have had a 10-year career in today's game. He didn't have a long career. I don't know if it was he didn't play that much defense. I thought if this guy was today, Dwight Lamar might be in the NBA Hall of Fame. He would be like a 3-point machine. He could shoot the eyes out of the basket. But he was in high school. He went to Columbus North.
Right.
Late 60s. In the book, he got into a dispute with his coach because the coach didn't like the length of his afro. And the coach said, if you don't cut your afro, you can't play basketball. So Dwight Lamar says, I'm not cutting. I'm leaving my afro the way it is.
Right.
So they threw him off the team. He was averaging 30 points a game for Columbus North. He was an unbelievable player. So then ultimately, he goes to, the mother moved over into the school district where Columbus East, and he ended up playing with Ed Ratliff, Columbus East, and winning a state title.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was reading this book.
That's insane.
He said Dwight Lamar got thrown off the team because he wouldn't cut his hair. He said his afro was too big. It's like, I had to read this again. I had to read it a couple times. I said, this can't be. You mean to tell me? And Dwight Lamar was a great guy. I mean, he and Ratliff and Nick Connor was on that team. Mm-hmm. They beat Nick Witherspoon, who played for Canton McKinley in the final. Nick Witherspoon played good career he went to Illinois with Connor. Nick Connor went to Illinois. Ratliff went to Long Beach, and then Dwight Lamar couldn't find a school. He ultimately went down to Southwest Louisiana, and he and Ratliff had great college careers.
Right.
And then Ratliff had about 5 years in the NBA, but he had a real bad back. So he was done after 5 years. Yeah. But the point is, these guys were like, and they won. Ratliff won a state title his junior year, and then he went 25-1 his junior year, and then undefeated his senior year. And they went back-to-back state titles, Columbus East did, in 68 and then again in 69. But then when he got Dwight Lamar, because Dwight Lamar was playing for Columbus North junior year, and he was averaging 30 a game. The guy was like an unbelievable player.
Right.
Shoot the ball, unbelievable. He got thrown off the team because his afro was too long. I just was like,
oh my God.
Oh, that's what I said.
Stupid.
And then he goes to Columbus East, and that coach is like, I don't care. Yeah, grow your afro as long as you want to grow. I don't care. Just keep shooting the ball and making the baskets. I don't care how big your afro is.
And then they win a state title.
And he was really, they said that getting Dwight Lamar was maybe the reason why they won the second title. They won the first one. Mm-hmm. And they said, but getting Dwight Lamar,
Dwight
Bo Lamar. But they said he was maybe the reason why they got that second title, because he might have been the difference,
right?
And that Columbus East coach was like, "Yeah, okay."
He wasn't worried about it.
No, he didn't care about the guy's. He didn't care about Lamar's afro. He said, "I don't care." Grow your afro as long as you want to grow it. Just keep making all the, keep making the baskets, and we keep winning games. I don't care.
That's those. But that is true. People dislike you because that.
That was the late 60s in Columbus, but you had, sadly, the element of racism in there. I mean, that's just insane.
Yeah. And then that's what they see.
It's just insane. It was pure insanity.
And it's the same thing when you see the jewelry. The thing about it, if you really watch, it's all young people now.
Yeah, I mean,
you see them today. It's all young people.
It's generation, right? It's right.
Before it used to be all racism towards that, but now all young people are like that. Got the jewelry on, got the got everything.
Right.
I mean, I watch sometimes, like they'll show before a game, and they don't want to say anything because of who it is, but look how Joe Burrow dresses sometimes.
Oh yeah, Burrow's got
he is flashy as ever.
He's got all kinds of stuff.
And then you think back, see, it's all that's the sad part about it. They look at that, Shador and all them chains and stuff. Well, let's go back to Joe Willie Namath. Let's go to Joe Willie Namath. Who were more flashier than that guy when he came to the Jets? They was like, what this guy? Who is this guy?
He had
fur coats to the ground.
Fur coat, the ground, the stuff.
Sunglasses on, fur coats, all kind of stuff.
I watched an old Tonight Show with Joe Namath on with Johnny Carson, and Elkie Summer was sitting next to Joe Namath.
Yeah.
And Carson is interviewing Namath. And then all of a sudden, there's a pause. And so Joe Namath starts talking to Elkie Summer.
Right.
Talk to her. And he's ignoring Carson. And Carson's like, hey, it's my show. What are you doing? He's laughing, but he's like, okay, Joe. And then he's asking Joe a question, and Joe's talking to Elkie Summer.
You know more about
Elkie Summer, very attractive actress in her day, very obviously pretty lady. And Namath is talking to her.
Yeah,
and he's just like blowing Carson off. He's like,
I'm
okay,
done with you, Carson.
Yeah, okay, Johnny, you're okay.
Yeah, but see, that's the way things is. But
but Namath was basically, the fur coats, the flash,
everything.
And all you go back in history, all these guys. What it is some of the writers or some of the critics today forget that what it was like to be 25 years old or 23 years old. They forget. Like when you were 23 and 25 and you had all that money and you like to, have it and have nice things, people are always ranting and raving and about it. Well, the writers are old guys. They're like, yeah, but you're old. When you were that age, if you had that, you would be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So what's the problem?
Yeah, and sometimes a lot of them write it because they're jealous of it.
Well, and that's
true. They could have done it.
Right. Saturday morning sports page. Dave Clark. I'm Pat Lucia. Western Reserve Radio. It's halftime. We'll be back with the second half of the show. Talk about prop bets.
Youngstown, Warren, and Salem Sports Talk is on the iMedia1 Network, Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
During the fall and winter, grilling season never ends, and Gessler Propane is your local supplier that makes sure you get your hard-earned money's worth. Why go to gas exchanges to pay higher prices for tanks not filled to capacity? Gessler Propane makes sure you're prepared for year-round grilling with 100% filled tanks at a reasonable cost. See Bob Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, and Saturday, 9 to 3 at Gessler Propane, 702 Youngstown Poland Road, Struthers, or call 330-755-9119. Gessler Propane. They got gas.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
Saturday morning sports page, hour number 2 in the books, or hour number 1 is in the books. We got the hour number 2 is ahead of us. We kind of addressed this a little bit. Prop bets.
Mm-hmm.
The Cleveland Guardians are in a bad situation with their player, their pitcher, Clase, is under investigation. It was a prop bet. He threw a ball. Evidently, the house lost a lot of money, so they believe he was somehow intentionally did this. So they're investigating this. And what it's generated is it's those prop bets where you can bet a pitch. You can bet, does the guy make a free throw?
Right.
Who gets the tip ball? You know, all these little small bets that you can bet if you so desire.
Mm-hmm.
So what occurred is Cleveland Indians or Cleveland Guardians are in this investigation. I apologize. The Cleveland Guardians, they got the two pitchers, Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, are under investigation, and they've been placed on non-disciplinary leave, paid leave, pending the outcome of the investigation. It says, the investigation into Ortiz began after a third-party betting integrity firm flagged unusual betting activity on 2 of his pitches. Specifically, they were high-volume bets based on whether his first pitch of a certain innings would be a ball or hit by a pitch. And these pitches were notably wild. Then Emmanuel Clase, the investigation into Clase is less specific, with the Guardians only stating it is related to the MLB's ongoing gambling probe. However, there's speculation about his potential involvement due to his performance fluctuations on the high number of wasted first pitches as tracked by StarCast. The investigation is around prop bets, which are wagers on specific events within a game, like the outcome of a single pitch. There's a concern that players may have been influencing these outcomes to benefit from the betting activity. Gee.
Now, when they say a bunch of money is coming in, so let's say you do a prop bet. You can't do it before the game.
Yep,
but then more money can come on during the game.
Yeah.
How do you know that it came on? Because somebody can do that, like the pitch before. They can say, hey, next pitch is this. How is that pitcher going to know any of that? He's wearing something on him that buzzes, or I don't know. I mean, what is going on? I mean, once this stuff was, our DraftKings, our whatever, FanDuels, all of them, once these things were legalized and done, you were done. No use of coming up with all this junk now, because once you legalized that and said it, all these things was open. I mean, it was going to happen.
Gee.
So we got to waste a lot of taxpayer dollars on these
You
court
know,
cases fraud.
do these? I'm going to try to be nice. I won't call them. Well, do these individuals ever pick up a history book? Do they ever read history of gambling in sports?
No.
Do they understand?
You only needed a couple books. Couple of the books you have talked about.
Right.
And you can find out this is going to go on and
I've
always
read
will.
a couple books. I'm reading this book now called The New York Game. It's a great sports book, great baseball book, a good read. And the betting that going on in baseball with the players. The players are betting. It's just unbelievable. You're reading this book, and it's just unbelievable how you've got to wonder about certain guys throwing games or letting the ball go by them because they want the other team to win, dropping the ball, they throw it. I'm reading this game and I think, do they realize that inherently this is what happens?
Yeah.
That when you have a prop bet, you're going to open up the door. Gee, I couldn't see this coming. Are you out of their minds? Of course this is going to happen. You have a prop bet where on each pitch, you're opening up the door for all of this. I can't believe it that they have this. I mean, I'm not shocked, but now Governor DeWine in Ohio wants to do away with prop betting in Ohio. Now they don't have it in college.
Right.
They don't have it's not allowed in college sports. And now but obviously all the betting people are all against this. No, we have the right. We want to have these prop bets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing about
realize
like you said, I had to say something because that's it right there. Governor DeWine, have you picked up a book to know this before? And then I'm just wondering, they come running to the aid of this here. We can't have this. So, okay, let's take it away from DraftKings, FanDuel.
No, they don't want.
Let's take it away. You can't do it no more.
Right.
Is that going to stop them from betting the same thing?
Well, they basically said that. They said you could take it away, but it's
still happening.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's been happening.
It's going to happen.
Always.
Right. It's always
going to be there. So let's just stop. You already done let it in and let it flow for years now. We're not talking about just this started. You let this stuff flow for years. It reminds me that we don't want to talk about them, bring them up, but the NCAA, who never gets behind nothing, stuff that we were saying that we really didn't know what we were really truly talking about, but we just thought, hey, if they start paying the guys some money, some type of dividend, then we won't have all this talk about money in the gym bag and hey, just handed him an envelope and all of a sudden the mom got a new car and they moved to a new residence and we don't have to have all this. If we do that, if we have them with some type of wage scale, oh no, you can't do that. And now we come full circle.
Right.
And it's out of control. NIL going crazy. Now they want to try to calm that down, which is going to be a chore in its own right to even get that done. This didn't have to happen. They could have been, and that back then I didn't get into it with a lot of people because they looked at, hey, he's getting an education, he's on a scholarship, he's blah, blah, blah. Well, it's hard to tell me something like that because just because your education is paid for, which is, thank God, that's a great thing to have.
It is, right.
But it doesn't pay for it. It doesn't pay for your meal there. I mean, you did have meals for, with the team, they had special things. But if I had to go get certain clothing or I had to go get certain things that I needed, that scholarship did not give me money for that. So you needed extra money, but you're not allowed to go out and get a job.
No, you can't.
You get a scholarship,
right.
so you can't have a job.
Yeah, you can't have the job thing.
Again, what we do now, that right there, when you think about it, Pat, puts things in the mind of young men and women to start doing things that they shouldn't do, trying to bring in some extra money because they got to pay for this or they need this. And then look how terrible that person is. Well, I mean, come on. So now we got NIL, you got a bigger problem, but it could have been squashed years and years ago when we were on the air talking about 15 years ago. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, as we've discussed, the NCAA never got their hands around it, never took a proactive approach to dealing because they were losing court case after court case with this, and they don't want to pay. They don't want to make the players a employee of the college. So now we get the NIL, and they're basically using NIL to pay the guys. And now they want to try to limit that. And they're going to go to Congress, and they're trying to get the government to help them out. And I have news. But I don't think government's going to give them much help here because the government don't get involved in it. It's and besides, they're going to lose that anyway because they're going to continue. I think the problem is you can't limit what kids can make off their name, image, and likeness. I don't care who you are. And you're going to go right back to the premise. I don't care what government or no. They will lose in court because when a young man or young lady goes to court and says they're trying to limit what I can make in NIL, the judge is going to rule in the kid's favor because you can't do that in our society. It's a capitalistic society. You can't limit what somebody can make off their name, image, and like this. Well, then if you're going to limit them, then you got to limit LeBron James. You got to limit all the other great pros making money off their name. Say, well, you guys can't make if the young kid or young student in college, lady or man, can't. I'm going to limit them. I've got to limit you.
Yeah,
and you can't, and you just can't limit.
It'd be chaos.
You can't. It's so chaotic. You can't turn around and limit one. That's called restrain a trade, discrimination.
Yeah,
I'm going to limit an 18-year-old young lady for making. She wants to put out a training video or a workout video. Yeah. She's a gymnast, and she's going to put this video out of her doing her gymnastic, or a young guy doing his workout video, like the kicker, the college kicker, and he can make $2, $3, $4 million, or it takes off, and now it's worth $10 million. I can't limit that. I can't limit what a young person can make just because they're young and they're not a name. They're not like a famous name. I can't limit what they can make because then if I do them, I have to limit what other people would make. Yeah. So you just can't do it. I don't care. They want to fight it, and they are trying. The NCAA is trying like the dogs to limit what these young people can make, and they just not gonna do it.
Waited too long
because they waited too long. And I got sad news for them. They were never going to do it anyway. Once they got that court case and everything ruled in their favor and they opened up that door, the door is wide open. Horse is way out of the barn. You can't go get him back. He's long gone. And that's life.
Yep.
And you just can't limit what these young people or anybody can make off their name, image, and likeness. I mean, this is the internet. This is YouTube. In this day and age, people put stuff out. It gets popular, and all of a sudden, a young person, just as an example, is a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
Because they put out a workout video that everybody liked, and they were able to make a lot of money off it.
Yeah. I mean, it's
and colleges don't want to make these young kids employees.
Right.
So
but they were making millions off of them.
And they've been making millions off them for many, many, many years. I'm talking back in the 1970s.
That's
they were making money.
How many jerseys? I remember back then, Ohio State jerseys. When I would go to my cousins down in Columbus, I remember seeing people with Rex Kern jerseys. I was seeing with that. Randy Gradishar.
Back in and now you're talking the early 70s.
Yeah, I was seeing with that. Now they're buying these jerseys.
Yeah.
And they're paying, true, it wasn't the amount of money they were still the same premise. because the economy was different then. But you still were paying big money back then, according to the economy back then.
Right.
They had those jerseys on.
Yeah.
Cornelius Green, Archie Griffins.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Making money.
A lot of money.
Going to the college.
Yeah.
But
they
now,
were selling them to the students.
Right. To wear them.
And the students were wearing them and paying a lot of money for those jerseys.
Right.
And they've been doing it for years.
Yeah, that's right.
I lived down in Columbus. You'd go to every store. Oh, my
years.
Yeah. Every year you'd go into a department store and you had those Ohio State jerseys all over the place. People were buying them left and right, paying $30, $40 at least, God, for an Ohio State with, a name in the back, and you're running around, down on campus.
Yep.
Archie Griffin, they probably made, I would go out on a limb and say they probably made over $1 billion off of Archie Griffin's jerseys. Easy.
Yeah.
Archie Griffin's like,
but they couldn't get it. He
couldn't get it done. He couldn't stiff it done, but I bet you the school made close to that. Easy.
Yeah, easy.
Off Archie. Yeah. 2 Heisman trophies. Well liked. Everybody loves Archie Griffin. Are you kidding me? Those jerseys down there, number 45.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about every other I bet you half the population had an Archie Griffin jersey. Oh my God, they were everywhere.
I know.
Number 47, Corny Green 7, Archie 45. Everybody had one or the other.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm convinced people had probably both, and they rotated them.
Yeah. Yep.
That's
right. That's right. I know that to be right. So I know some people that's like that.
Yeah,
I know people today that's like that. They got different Steelers jerseys.
Yeah.
And they got the quarterbacks, they got the receiver, they got everybody.
Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
I mean, you go to I'm convinced, being a Yankee fan, that I would guarantee you the Yankees have made billions of dollars off jersey sales.
Oh, yeah.
Many billions.
Yeah.
I think of, you go to a game, they have Thurman Munson, rest in peace, his jersey, Gehrig, Ruth, Cheater, rattle off the names, Judge. I mean,
think about how many New York Yankee hats you have seen.
Right.
Oh, my God. Come on. Just the hats. Not even jersey. Just the hat.
And look at Ohio State.
Yep.
They crack out all those jerseys and sell. You go to a game, everybody's got it on.
Yeah.
120,000 people, 100,000 people, whatever it is. Everybody's got most people have some kind of jersey on.
Yep.
And Archie Griffin, number 45, is still, I bet you, a big hit. And people are buying that jersey left and right.
They probably still got it, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they still do. Because Archie's still, again, well-loved by everybody. And here to all the Buckeye fans. And he's a great guy. He interviews people. People interview him. He's so nice, very cordial, open to the fans. People come up to him. He's so likable. He's such a good guy. And it's just like, you talk about that jersey. I'm going to kind of shift. I'm going to open up another door since we're kind of on this. Teddy Bridgewater.
All right, Teddy, you're back, huh?
Teddy's back.
Teddy's back.
But you know why he's back? You know what happened to him.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now he just signed with Tampa Bay.
Right. Yep.
But evidently, poor Teddy ran into trouble at the high school level.
Right.
This what always blows my mind. How dumb people are. How frilly people. This is okay. Teddy just signed with Tampa Bay as the backup to Baker. I think it's a good move.
Oh, yeah, we know it is.
Teddy's a good quarterback. I still think he can play.
He can still play. He's just an excellent,
really
knows how to run a system.
Knows how to system. He is a borderline, to me, at least a starter, top backup.
Right.
Right on the edge.
Right.
Like Teddy can go in and play and move your team and still do good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Teddy was... after returning, Teddy was suspended from coaching the high school football in the state of Florida because he provided what was deemed impermissible benefits to his players. He'd been coaching Miami Northwestern, provided his players money for Ubers, pregame meals, can't feed these kids, and athletic recovery services. It was deemed to be a violation of Florida high school athletic rules. So Teddy had said, Teddy stressed that he was trying to do the right things for his players, many of whom are economically disadvantaged and living in dangerous areas.
Yep.
So,
and it is, if people want to know about the area, it's the area where Michael Irvin had lived. Those are the areas where Ray Lewis had lived. These guys lived in those areas, and back then, their parents was trying to move them to other areas, still go to that school. They had a great athletic program, but didn't want them to live in that area because of how dangerous of an area it was.
Teddy goes
trying to
on.
help kids.
Teddy goes on. I'm protective. I'm a father first before anything. And when I decided to coach, those players became my sons. Bridgewater said, and I'm quoting from a CBS Sports article, Teddy goes on, and I wanted to make sure that I just protected them in the best way that I can. I think that's what came about. Miami Northwesterns is a tough neighborhood. And sometimes things can happen when kids are walking home and different things like that. So I was just trying to protect them and give them a ride home instead of having them take dangerous walks. So he was giving these kids Ubers so they would get home safe, or he would take them. He said, Bridgewater said it was difficult to go through being suspended, citing relationships he built with his players at Miami Northwestern, where he once played before becoming an accomplished quarterback for Louisville Cardinals and then first-round NFL pick. Bridgewater's hope is that he can continue to provide hope and motivation to his players by returning to the NFL in a one-year deal with Tampa Bay. It was just like, man, coaching is continuing to serve just as motivation and to influence in every way possible. Teddy said, he's showing us that you can make it to the NFL, is showing us that you can coach. He's showing us that there are different avenues in life you could take, and I hope that they're making notes on that. So life throws you different obstacles, and you've got to put your hard hat on and keep pressing on. So Teddy Bridgewater is trying to help these young men, keep them safe, and give them Ubers and give them food, because a lot of these kids come from
home, don't have nothing,
don't have the means. They don't have a sadly stable household, don't have food, and so Teddy was making them get home and feeding them.
Right.
Doing all that. And then he gets suspended for this. Now, this is what always gets me more than anything. What is wrong with people? Meaning the people that suspended him. What is wrong with the system when don't they realize that you've got to help, and this is what you're trying to keep these young men safe, get them out of a bad situation, get them home safe, but feed them, and then maybe get them so they go to a college and work themselves out of a bad neighborhood, a bad situation, and Teddy Bridgewater is providing them this. Can't they basically figure out a way to say what he's doing is a good thing and say, okay, we need to either amend the rule, let it alone, and address that, this is hardship case, and it's okay.
Right.
And we're not going to suspend him for giving the kid, providing them Ubers home safe.
That's right, through gang-related areas,
gang-related bad areas, and get these kids home. But then Teddy's probably feeding them, giving them food, and getting them home safe, and probably some other, stuff that he's doing for these young men, with the idea that maybe he can get them out of a bad situation and into college.
Right.
And now you've got a guy who probably Teddy has the finances to do it. He's NFL. I'm sure he's got a lot of money.
Right.
I'm not sure, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So
he's been in there
yeah,
double-digit years.
Yeah, he's been in, right. He's signed a lot of good contracts.
Yep.
But the point is, here's a young man. Here's Teddy Bridgewater, who I think is a great guy and a great player, pretty good player. But trying to help these young men. And now they suspend him? Like, what is wrong with these? Don't they, understand? You need, if anything, they should be giving him a medal.
Yeah. But
you should give him, the Presidential Freedom of Medal. You should be, giving him something to say, this guy is, this is what we need. He's helping these young men.
That's why sometimes I don't even understand the world.
Period. I don't understand, but here's a guy doing all the right things.
And you
it's this
you get reprimanded for it.
I read this. I thought, this is the NCAA. This reminds me. This is exactly what the NCAA does.
Yes,
they go out of their way.
And when it first came out, I was forgetting it was high school. I did when it first came out.
Me too.
I said, "What is the NCAA doing now?"
Right.
And I said, "Wait a minute, this is high school." And then I kept reading, and I seen it was the Florida whatever, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Right.
Baby NCAA, I guess.
So what, did they take a page book out of the NCAA?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, this is where somebody needs to step in.
Yeah, I mean,
from above, from way above, and say, whoa, wait, time out.
About the kids I coached in high school. How many times I gave them rides when we stopped at somewhere to get something to eat on the way home?
Because that was their food.
Yeah.
You see, this is the thing too.
That's so many times.
There are situations where you're coaching these kids, and you know that these kids don't have the best home life, and you'll say, let's stop and get hamburgers, because that's the only food they're going to get that night.
Yep.
So you're going to say, hey, we're going to go and we're going to buy hamburger. We're going to stop and get some food, because that's what they're going to eat that day.
Right.
So you're going to wheel in and say, okay, let's either go through the drive-through or whatever, but you're going to say, okay, kids, order.
Yeah.
Because that the kids are going to eat the food, that's all they're going to get that day.
But what's so sleazy out of this whole thing? That means somebody was watching every move.
Yeah, that's the other side of this. Somebody's
it's actually somebody walking around, binoculars,
and this is what
everything else.
The other side of the coin is somebody is actually watching this.
Yep.
And actually calling him out, saying, he's giving them Uber rides home and he's giving them food.
Could have been other coaches.
Probably.
It could have been people that work right at the restaurants. Come on.
Right. I bet you that it was probably, you hit it, other coaches who are probably doing the same thing anyway, but they know Teddy Bridgewater's got money, so they're going after him.
Yep, absolutely.
They should give him a medal.
Yeah.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia, Dave Clark, back after this.
Hey, let me ask you something. Would you seat your 3-year-old child on a windowsill? Would you seat them beside a lit fireplace or by the deep end of a pool? One last question. Would you seat your child in a car seat that's not correct for them? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Secure their future. Seat them in the correct car seat. For more information, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Located in Applewood Estates in Boardman Township, the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club offers a pleasant family environment. Choose a membership that meets your needs and enjoy a relaxing venue that includes not only swimming for the family, but also youth activities such as competitive swimming, tennis, and more. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere all summer long with the staff and members of the Applewood Swim and Tennis Club. For more information, go to applewoodswimandtennis.com or call 330-953-2833.
If I could be you.
And you could be me.
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
To get inside
each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
If you want to stay on top of your health, one simple thing to do.
Take the pledge to go and get screened for the cancers that might affect you.
So stand up, cancer, and take the pledge and get
GetScreenedNow.org. It only takes a minute to take care of yourself, and nothing rhymes with org.
Talk to your doctor about your health and screenings that are right for you.
Saturday morning sports page, Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. 330-707-4202. I know we've kind of gotten off the proverbial path.
That's okay.
But this book that I'm reading, it's called the New York Game. Excellent book. And it's written by Kevin Baker. Kevin Baker's done an absolutely fantastic job writing this book. But the one black player, and they have this book tells you all about early baseball, and this segregation is just brutal.
Yeah,
prejudice, racism is just throughout. Cap Anson should be in jail, as racist as he was. Just bad. But there were some great players in the book. And the one player that played, John Henry Lloyd, some people believe he was the greatest player of all time, better than Josh Gibson.
Wow.
And I'm just reading this book enamored with all these great black players in the book and how baseball would not let them in at all. Just scary. Just the way they approached, they were just so adamant. And yet these players were really great players. I mean, they were just like unbelievable great players in the day. And it just scares me, not maybe scares, or sickens me that I know that was our society back then. You can't change history.
Right.
So it's sad, but it's a great what if.
Yeah.
If sadly, and even Babe Ruth said, I believe Babe Ruth said, I thought Babe Ruth said that John Henry Lloyd was the greatest player he ever saw. And there was Smokey Joe Williams, Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, Buck Leonard. They're the ones we know. But there were so many other great players back then. And sadly, is because it would have been great if you would have integrated the game and put these players on the teams like they did in the 60s. It took them 60, 70, 80 years to do it.
Right.
But if you would have done it earlier, and John McGraw, the manager of the Giants, was actually, there's a part where he's actually trying to get one of the players on his teams. He was a light-skinned African-American, and John and McGraw were trying to get him on. He was saying he was Native American because the guy was a great shortstop.
Right.
And the Chicago White Sox found out and said, you can't, because we know the guy. We know he's not a Native American. And John McGraw, because John McGraw loved all the Cuban players.
Right.
And he knew the great players down there in Cuba, and he wanted to get them on his team, and they wouldn't let him.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones. You're on the sports page. What's up?
Good morning, Pat. Good morning, Dave. How you guys doing today?
Good. Irish Mike, what's up?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Hey, we are, 3 weeks away from college kickoff on the 30th of August. And then
That's right.
I think we're actually 2 weeks away. Isn't August 23rd, what they call week 0.
That's it.
So there's like about half a dozen games during week 0.
Yes.
August 23rd.
Week 0, Irish Mike. Yes. I like that. That's a tradition in college football, week 0.
So I, for whatever reason, they call it week 0. I've never figured that one out yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they do either. I'm not sure why they call it week 0.
Yeah, me either.
I'm not sure. Like, is there? Yeah, to your point, you're right. For those out there that can't get enough football and want it right now, and people like me, all of a sudden, I'm interested in the exhibition games. I have in previous years I could care less, but this year, and I don't know why. I watched I watched all of the NFL, the Hall of Fame game and Trey Lance, and then I watched last night's game with Shador and the Browns. But to your point, week 0 was Saturday, August 23rd. It starts at noon. Iowa State at Kansas State is ESPN, and then for those out there, Fresno State at Kansas is the Fox game. And that one is 6:30 on Fox. And then the night game is Stanford at Hawaii at 7:30, CBS. So the other two games are Idaho at UNLV, and then on CBS Sport Network at 7, Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. So there it is. 5 games there for those people that need football now. 2 weeks away.
Don't look this up, Lucia. Don't look this up. Who's the new football coach at UNLV? So it's a very recognizable name.
God. You know, they were talking about this. Petra Papadakis was talking about this because I really like him. He was on the show with Brady Quinn and Jonas Knox and LeVar Arrington. Is it not? No, it's not Tommy. No, he's the No, it's I was going to say Tupperville, but it's.
Guy's he was an SEC coach for years and years. A couple different schools in the SEC. He was at Mississippi State for a while, then he was at the University of Florida for a while.
Yeah.
Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
He's new coach at UNLV.
He's got UNLV now.
Okay.
Yes. Trying to make that comeback after being out of coaching for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, he's 50. I looked it up now that you brought him up. Yeah, he's 53 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's from Dexter Hill, Pennsylvania. That's where he was born. So, yeah, he's going to get back. UNLV's that's a good school, I think. That's a good football program.
Yeah.
They're like
Barry Odom was there a couple years. Remember, he got fired from Missouri, surprisingly. He went to UNLV for 2 years and did really well. Now he just took the Purdue job, and I think he's got a lot of work ahead of himself, Pat Lucia at Purdue right now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
And they better understand that and give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny, Dave, is my buddy always talks about this. You remember a guy at Purdue named Joe Tiller?
Yep. Oh, yeah, Joe Tiller.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Called basketball on grass or whatever.
Yeah.
And Joe Tiller was they would go 8-4, 9-3 every year. And after a while, for the Purdue folks, that wasn't good enough. And he actually won the Big Ten, I think, with Drew Brees, the quarterback, one time 25 years ago.
Yep.
And then they got rid of him. They ran him out of town. And they have not been the same since Joe Tiller left. And that was, 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah. Probably even, at least that. At least that. Yeah.
Maybe 20 years now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
He always talks about that. He said,
because Brees played.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. They should have never got rid of him, but they have not came back to prominence since then, because Purdue used to be a problem. They was that mid-contender. That's a team you couldn't sleep on.
Yep.
You can't come in to play them and think, well, let me just mark a W. Because they used to give Ohio State problems. I don't know why. They play them up there at Purdue. There would be big problems against Purdue all the time.
Oh, I still remember, yes.
I mean, and we talking about highly rated. I don't care if it was Cooper or whoever it was. I'm talking about it still shouldn't have been in you would think they wouldn't be in the ball game. But that team was always prepared and ready to play.
Purdue used to drive them crazy.
Yep. All the time.
I remember the 1984 Purdue game. Listening to it on radio, playing golf in a golf outing. We had that game on, and Purdue beat Ohio State in 84. Great. Ohio State had Keith Byers, a great team.
Yeah.
And they went to Purdue and lost. Mm-hmm. And Purdue Purdue could be their, flying in the ointment, pain, the pebble in the shoe.
Mm-hmm.
And they would drive Ohio State fans crazy. Yeah, you're right. Joe Tiller coached 1997 to 2008. So basically the quick math is he's been gone 17 years. He hasn't coached in 17 years. He was 87 and 62. He coached 149 games. But you are 100% right. Since Joe Tiller was fired.
With a winning record, right? With a winning record fired, right?
Yeah, Joe Tiller basically overall winning record was 87 and 62. Since then, the only other coach that was over 500 was Jeff Brom, and he was from 2017 to 2022, and he was 36 and 34. All the other head coaches, and I could run by the list that there was Danny Hope, who took his spot. There was Patrick Higgins, who filled in after they fired, I believe, Hope. Then Daryl Harzel was 9 and 33. Jared Parker came in. He was 0 and 6. Brom was okay, but Brian Brom was 0 and 1. And they've been terrible. They have just had
and you hate to say that, but they have terrible.
When they fired Joe Tiller, outside of Jeff Brom, had 3 years of respectability at 500,
right?
2 over 500. They've been nothing, and that's 17 years, and they've been pretty much a bad team.
Yeah.
So, take me back to Pat, the one gentleman. He was a wide receivers coach at Ohio State, then he went to Kent State. Daryl. He was head coach at Purdue a couple years.
Hazel.
Daryl Hazel, very good.
Yeah.
Daryl Hazel's linebackers coach / defense coordinator was a guy named at Purdue. I can't remember his name. Oh yeah, Marcus Freeman.
There you go.
True story.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because he hasn't coached. The last time he coached he was the Minnesota wide receiver coach, 2017 and 2018. But it looks like he's currently.
Yeah, I think he's the upper office, front office with some NFL teams doing some stuff in their front offices, not on the field. So.
Yeah, because it said
guys never leave football, Lucia. They just kind of get front office jobs. That's all they do, right? They never leave.
Yeah, they said he retired in coaching in 2018, but maybe, like you said, he could be a consultant. Usually they end up consulting.
Correct.
For an NFL team. He's 61 years old, so maybe he made enough money in coaching, and maybe he's now consulting and just kind of doing,
doing something,
doing something like that.
Yeah. But it's amazing how these guys hop around and they find other jobs and you mentioned Jeff Brom, who's at Louisville now. It's funny because Brom's second year at Purdue, you remember that big Ohio State was number 2 in the country and 8-0 with Dwayne Haskins going in there, and Purdue beat him by like 4 touchdowns. You remember that Saturday night, that crazy game where I can't remember that one kid was from Louisville, but he was like a scat back, Dave, and he's in the NFL. His NFL career has been that good. He's only like 5'7", 5'8", but they got him the ball in space and they couldn't tackle him. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He scored like 4 touchdowns that night.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who that guy. Let me see.
His NFL career, he got drafted in the second round by the Arizona Cardinals, I think back in 2020 maybe. And I can't remember his name, Rendell or something like that. But
Rondell
Moore.
Rondell Moore.
Yeah, he plays for, I forget where he plays now. He plays for somebody.
Rondell Moore.
He just signed a contract with somebody. He was
Rondell
drafted by
Moore.
Arizona. Then he went to somebody else, but he just signed a contract with somebody. Yep. Little number 4.
Yeah.
Hard attacker.
I think and people laugh when you say this, but that got Jeff Brom a contract extension. Remember how ecstatic they were over that win? They had to black out. The young man was unfortunately dying, and he passed away a couple weeks later, and just made and then Brom got a contract extension at Purdue, and then he bailed on it after about 3 years and went back home to Louisville because that's where he played, and that's where his family's from, Louisville. So
Rondell Moore just signed a 1-year deal with the Minnesota Vikings. Currently, he's a member of the Vikings. He signed a 1-year deal. He had a non-contact knee injury during joint practice Miami. That was, I think, in 2024. He was placed on reserve list by the Falcons. He was with the Falcons when he had the injury, and now he signed a deal with the Minnesota Vikings 1 year, 2025. That's where he's at.
Gotcha.
So that's where he's at now. So see what he does this year coming off an injury. But yeah, Rondell Moore he was lightning in a bottle.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He had a tremendous college.
Yeah, he was like watching Pac-Man, like the game. He'd catch that ball and he was like a scat back. He was gone though. He just had that ability to break. You're right. He's not like what is 5'7" and 181. He's a short, compact, but fat, like
lightning. Yeah, in them short little spaces. So,
well, especially NFL, this day and age, where they like to go like those little in cross patterns with a guy like that, you hit him in space with all that speed, and if he gets the right lane, he's gone.
Yep.
He can go.
And he's done that a couple times while he was with the Cardinals. So, he's a big play waiting to happen.
You know, Dave, another name, and he'll be a high school senior this year, kid out of the Dallas area. He verbally committed. Now, they can't sign anything until December 18th or whatever it is. So they just got a verbal commitment from a wide receiver who had all the big-time offers. And maybe he's like 5'7", 5'7.5", but he runs a 4.29 40. And the one thing, when people see the films, now he had offers by everybody: Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, USC, Texas, LSU, the whole gamut. Because you look at his size and say, well, he's only 5'7", 5'7.5", but you can't teach 4.29. You just can't.
No,
right?
No. Yeah,
no.
They're going to give you opportunity. No. You can run that fast. You can get an opportunity to get on the field.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't care who you are or what you play.
I think you put him on kickoff return, punt return. I don't want, for lack of a better phrase, a gadget guy. I mean,
anything.
Figure it out, right?
I mean, I remember some years. Well, it wasn't that long ago. Maybe about 7 years ago, 5. They was trying to sign Usain Bolt.
Yeah, they were.
An NFL team
they
trying to get him.
About him, right?
I mean, they didn't care. If I can get this guy on the field, and if he can catch a football, there's going to be problems.
And Dave's playing 6A football down in Texas. The highest class you can play. So it's not like he's playing.
He's playing with the big boys
or somewhere in Rhode Island. He's playing 6A. So if you're having success at that level, big time high school football right down there, you take that very serious, as we all know.
Yeah.
Then you can have success in colleges as well.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
Just because of speed alone.
Oh yeah, just on that alone for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, but my friends have a thing going, and we have to figure this out. We have to have our entries in. You have to pick 5 teams that you legitimately think can win the national championship in January. Championship games this year is Monday, January 19th, 2026. And you have to pick 5 teams that you think can legitimately win a national championship and hold up the trophy. Who you guys think? And I know it's still early. We haven't started the season yet, but I was just trying to get your thoughts on this.
Well, I have to look. I would have to look over the teams. I know Texas and all them being there.
Texas, obvious. Maybe Ohio State, Penn State.
Penn
State is favored. I think it's Penn State. If you were to rate it, you get Texas. Because of Arch Manning, everyone wants to see that. And by the way, he's not going to come out after the year. He's staying another year at Texas. I think you probably know that or heard that his grandfather, Archie Manning, said his grandson is staying 2 years at Texas. So he's not coming, even though he's going to be, rumor is, already he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. He's not coming out.
Okay.
He's staying in Texas and he's probably going to make more money in NIL than the NFL anyway, but he doesn't obviously need money. But we talked about that earlier. But if you were to go back to those 5 teams, I mean, you got to go with Texas, Penn State. I think they're obvious. Ohio State, even though it could be a rebuild, but they reload. Their quarterback competition is up in the air, according to Ryan Day.
Yeah.
He said
he hadn't named it.
He hasn't named it. He said it's between Kleinholtz and Sands.
Yeah.
So we don't know, but he's saying it's up in the air. He's not saying. So there's 3, and then after that,
Clemson. I think Clemson's got to be one. I mean,
Clemson.
They should.
Clemson's supposed to be the team.
Yeah.
Loaded up. They said that There and then it's now I heard LSU is supposed to be
another one, Nussmeier.
Nussmeier.
LSU's schedule scares me a little bit, Dave Clark. If you look at LSU's schedule, that scares me a little bit.
Oh, yeah, they got a lot.
They got a lot.
Their first game's at Clemson. That's their non-conference games at Clemson.
Which is going to be, and therein lies your point, but they could still lose that and get in. So they were saying that LSU is a potential team. I've seen them as far as you put your 5 teams together. That's the 5 really, I can rate right off the top of my head. And then
they can get in it. That really prepares them now. Look at that schedule. You got your in-conference, which is great.
The in-conference.
And then you're going to play Clemson out of conference? Yeah, you'll be ready, playoff ready.
All aside, the SEC is still the best conference top to bottom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those teams have the hardest schedule.
I talked to a gentleman the other end of the phone, Pat, who's been covering Notre Dame football since 1982. It was his first year covering, so this is his 44th year. And I said, hey, Tim, I got to ask you. He was on our show many times. Marty and I had the show, and I said, this team, you've been to training camp 4 or 5 times. For as far as talent and depth, when does this compare to your? You covered the team 44 years. When do you remember this being the most talented, most deepest team? And his answer was 1993. That was his answer.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah. That's that. And then, like I said, he's been covering tennis. This is his 44th year, so he's seen a lot of stuff there, good, bad, and indifferent.
And he said this is the best one.
He said this is the most talent and most depth they've had since 1993. And you remember the year they finished number 2 to Florida State that year? Remember Charlie Ward and Bobby Bowden?
Yeah, that was Charlie. That was that was the Charlie Ward year that they beat Charlie. Boston College beat them.
Yeah, correct. A week after they beat Florida State, and then they get a rematch. Florida State beat Nebraska on the last-second field goal, and they won Bobby Bowden's first national title in 93.
Right. And then because people thought Notre Dame should have played, but they put Florida State.
They won that rematch.
They won the rematch, right. And that was
South Bend, so
the head coach of Boston College who beat him was Tom Coughlin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure was.
That was Coughlin's BC, who went on and led the Giants to 2 Super Bowls.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now the Giants are suffering with the Coughlin curse. They fired him, and they've been absolutely in the proverbial toilet ever since.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the Coughlin curse for the Giant fans.
Now, I had a friend go out to Vegas, guys, about 6 weeks ago. My wife and I are heading out at the end of the month, and he did a future wager for $25. He picked Notre Dame to win the national championship, and he picked the Green Bay Packers to win the Super Bowl in February. Now, his $25 future ticket would win him $185,000 if those 2 teams win it all.
What was this? So what are the 2 teams that have to win it all for the guy to win?
He went there back in late June, right about a week before the 4th of July. And a future wager at the Circa Hotel and Casino in downtown, $25, and he picked Notre Dame to win the national championship, which is January 19th. And he picked the Packers, Green Bay Packers, to win the Super Bowl. Here's the parlay. They both have to win. They both have to win it all.
Right.
His $25 bet, he can win $185,000.
He has a better shot with Notre Dame. I don't think Green Bay can win the Super Bowl, but
he didn't want to pick any of the chalks. He said, the chalks are the top 2 or 3 teams. As far as the odds go. I think the chalk in college football, he said, were Texas and Ohio State were the chalks. They were even, and the NFL was the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs. So he wanted to go down the board, but he said, I wanted to look at teams that legitimately had a chance to win, but not be in the top, say, 3 or 4, so to speak.
Well, I guess. He's got one in his favor. He picked a good, because Green Bay being in the NFC is a little wide. The NFC is wider open, but on the AFC, I think you got too many good teams in the AFC. The AFC is really where all the good teams are.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Because you got Buffalo.
I think that's why he went with Green Bay. I think that's why he went with Green Bay.
That's
a little bit on the rise. I think he said they were like number 8 or 9, Dave, in odds as far as best odds. They're like number 9. So
that's probably a good bet.
The higher the odds, the more money you can win. So that's why he kind of went down that road.
No, that's good. I think that's probably about right if you're going to pick it. And Notre Dame's a good pick too, because they could
their first 2 games, Notre Dame, August 31st, Sunday night, August 31st, they play Miami down in Miami. It's going to be a tough game on the road down there, starting new quarterback, Dave Clark's Miami Hurricanes. But you never know what you're going to get with Miami, good, bad, or indifferent. I think we all just, throw something in the hat and say, we'll see, we'll figure it out once we. And then they have a bye week, and then the 13th, their home openers against Texas A&M. So right out of the gate, they get 2 top 10 teams or top 15 teams right out of the gate. Boom, boom.
Well,
if they can somehow come out of that 2-0, this could be like last year, Lucia. You could be looking at 11-1, 12-0. You could very easily look at that. Because I think the rest of their schedules, I think I read they're one of the 4 or 5 teams in college football this year that are going to be favored in every game they play, according to the odds makers.
The odds
favored
makers.
In every game. Doesn't mean they're going to win. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but
Right.
you're going to be favored in every game.
No, that'll be interesting to see what they do because,
they got young quarterbacks down there. They're better throwing quarterback. Riley Leonard was a great athlete. We all agree. He could run the ball. Now, his passing was below average, I thought. Now, the other night in the exhibition game for the Colts, he played pretty well, but a lot of young quarterbacks play well in exhibition games. But Riley struggled to throw the ball. He would run the ball 10, 15 times a game. And 8 to 10 were design runs on quarterback draws and quarterback, power. And the one quarterback's a little bit better running than the other. But these two guys are supposed to be much better passing quarterbacks than him. And they actually have some receivers that can make plays downfield. It's just that, I think that's been their bugaboo the last couple of years is their, overall passing game.
Yeah, we'll see you're right. They're going to be the Monday night game.
Sunday night.
Sunday. You're correct. Sunday night game. And you've got a doubleheader that Sunday. You've got Va-Tech at South Carolina, but that's going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah. And that's Saturday opener. You have at noon. You have Texas at Ohio State. And later on tonight, I think you have LSU at Clemson.
Yep.
So and there's another big game. I think Florida State's playing Alabama. I think at 3:30.
Whoa!
Yeah. So right out of the gate, it's Lucia's heaven. He doesn't want to see.
No,
that's one of them days you never leave the seat. Just
no,
stay
you
there.
won't leave that. Yeah, because you've got the Buckeyes hosted Texas at noon, and then after that you have Alabama at Florida State at 3:30. ABC. Florida State obviously needs to bounce back to see where they're going to be, and then the night game is the LSU at Clemson game that everybody 7:30 is going to be watching that game. That's going to be,
great games.
You're right. You're not leaving. Game. I mean, you're not going to.
I might even be up for the 11 o'clock, whoever.
Well, and there you go. And then,
Hawaii against,
you've got some good games on late at night. You got California at Oregon State at ESPN 10:30. TNT, HBO Max has got Hawaii at Arizona. Then Utah is playing UCLA at 11 o'clock on Fox.
And that's a league game. That's a league game, yeah.
And Colorado State's at Washington on Big Ten Network at 11 o'clock. So just in case you haven't had enough football starting at noon, you could sit there, never leave your couch from noon to 2:30 to 2:30 in the morning, and you could sit there and watch all these games.
Man.
And you got great games. Even your late games are good.
Huh?
Dave, I apologize. I called the Utah UCLA game a league game. That's not a league game. Utah's in the Big 12 now, and UCLA's in the Big 10. So that is not a league game. I apologize.
It used to be.
It used to be.
And they still are the San Diego Chargers.
Right. And then it always will be.
And always will be the San Diego Chargers.
Yep.
The last thing, guys, I know the big thing about the USC Notre Dame rivalry since 1927. This is the last year of their contract in South Bend.
I know.
The USC wants them to come out there one more year, but Notre Dame wants to renew the contract long term, and the USC administration doesn't want to do that yet. So they're kind of stuck in limbo. So this could be the last year for USC at Notre Dame.
More money, more that. The more money, they'll figure it out. More money.
Hey, you guys have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
Saturday morning sports page. Pat Lucia, Dave Clark. Safe week, everybody. Do not drink it. Do not try. Stay sober.
Always keep you in the zone.
I love it.
It's awesome.
Western Reserve Radio, Western Reserve Radio 2, and City View Sportscast, Youngstown, Ohio.
It's Grace Remington for VEASAN. Looking for the quarterback value pick of the year? VEASAN fantasy expert John Hansen says J.J. McCarthy is the guy. His passing yards prop is set at 3,450.5 yards. He's in the same Viking system that helped Sam Darnold get over 4,300 yards last season, and he has the weapons, the O-line, and the legs to light it up. If he plays 14 or more games, he should smash this line. Get VEASAN's college football and NFL betting guides, plus full access to VEASAN Pro through the Super Bowl for just $199. Sign up now at VEASAN.com/subscribe.
This is VEASAN, the sports betting network. Welcome to the VEASAN Weekend Morning Line on VEASAN, the sports betting network.
Hour number 2 of
the VSiN Weekend Morning Line. Good morning. I'm Tim Murray, live from the Circa Sportsbook in downtown Las Vegas. 8 preseason games on the schedule today. At what point do you get to, all right, enough of the preseason, let me see some regular season football? Maybe you're already there. But last night and Thursday night got me a little bit fired up. Being on the air, watching those games with Will Hill, then 8 games today. We'll recap them for you tomorrow. Big takeaways. A lot has been made, rightfully so, about Shedeur Sanders and the performance we saw last night. And, I joked I was doing a radio show with my good friend Jeffrey Wright down in Memphis yesterday afternoon. And I said, man, wouldn't it be great if Shedeur's and the Browns played on Thursday? Because if he was great, if he was terrible, the reactions would have just been priceless. Now we kind of have to wait for him. We're getting them on some shows, including this one right here. But the excitement maybe doesn't come around till Monday, even though social media certainly had plenty of responses. Kind of going under the radar a little bit last night. Speaking of rookies, how about Travion Henderson? Did you see what the Ohio State running back did, a former Ohio State running back did to start the Patriots-Commanders game? 100 yards to the crib. Yeah, Travion Henderson now around 22-1 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't know if that is worth a look, but certainly puts it on the radar when you saw the explosivity from a guy like Travion Henderson to go to the house on a opening kickoff, second-round pick out of Ohio State. So certainly under the radar after another rookie stole the show last night in Shedeur Sanders with a couple of great throws. Really, once again, I opened the show with it, and we're going to talk more in depth about it coming up bottom of the hour with Mike Sanford, who I know was watching that game and had some thoughts regarding Shedeur Sanders. I don't want to just go crazy about it. But at 50-1, which is the number currently sitting at FanDuel, a national shop, we can play it at Boyd Sports here in Las Vegas. I'm contemplating throwing a little couch change on it. Haven't gotten there yet. I've got some 50-1 bets in the hopper that I feel a little bit better on. RJ Harvey to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, the UCF running back that was drafted in the second round by the Denver Broncos, even though I believe Sean Payton had him, 5th on the depth chart. Maybe we'll get a little more insight on that coming up bottom of the hour regarding where RJ Harvey does sit in the pecking order out there in Denver. Caleb Johnson, a guy that I think could have a big year. I have a 50-1 ticket on him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, the Iowa rookie who is now with Pittsburgh. But 50-1 on Shedeur after the performance we saw last night. And this is what FanDuel Sportsbook posted last night on social media. They said over the last 3 hours, this was late last night during the game, we've taken 341 bets on Shedeur Sanders to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Haven't moved the market, though. Worth noting there, right? FanDuel still sits at 50-1. DraftKings was 40-1 last night. They still sit at 40-1. Circa right now sitting at 20-1. So market kind of all over the place, and maybe some shops just protecting themselves. What if Shedeur Sanders ultimately wins this job? Look, we were sitting here on a Saturday or Sunday morning, I forget which day, it doesn't matter, when we found out the news that Derek Carr was retiring. And I quickly said, all right, I'm going to bet Tyler Shuck at, I think, 22-1 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Do I love Tyler Shuck to win Offensive Rookie of the Year? No. But he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, and it more than likely. And I thought 22-1 was worth that shot. It went down. Well, now it's back up at 22-1. So if you want Tyler Shuck at 22-1, have at it. I'm going to say I'm not enamored with that bet, but when you can get a starting quarterback, by the way, speaking of starting quarterbacks, we will see Cam Ward expected to play today for the Tennessee Titans. He's kind of has there been a number one overall pick at the quarterback position that has garnered less excitement than Cam Ward? And I'm not saying it negatively. It's just the truth of the matter, right? Because you've got this unusual situation brewing in Cleveland. Cam Ward was an amazing player just a year ago. And we knew he was ultimately, not this time last year, but as the draft process went on, we knew Cam Ward was going to go 1. So there really wasn't any discussion about Cam Ward and could he go number 1, because the discussion immediately turned to where will Shedeur Sanders ultimately get drafted? Will he go to as high as number 3? Will he go in the top 10? Will he go to the Raiders? Will he go to the Steelers? Well, we all found out that it would be until day 3 with the Cleveland Browns when he would ultimately be selected. But I don't know how much we're going to see from Cam Ward. And if I'm Tennessee, I'm not going to play him all that much, to be honest. He's going to be your guy, and he's a unique talent that utilizes his legs. So maybe not someone that we're going to showcase all that much. I remember in 2012 when Robert Griffin III was drafted by the Washington Redskins, and they really didn't run any of the offense that they would unveil week 1 against New Orleans during the preseason. So curious to see what ultimately unfolds tonight with Tennessee. I don't expect to see too much of Cam Ward. Tennessee, by the way, a 3-point favorite tonight against Tampa Bay, as that game will kick off at around 7:30. What would you do with Cam Ward in the draft? Fantasy draft, that is. How high do you select him? A guy like Jaden Daniels last year felt like, I can't spend X amount of dollars in my auction league. He's going way too high. Well, guess what? He didn't go high enough, right? Last year, if you selected Jaden Daniels, you were rewarded quite handsomely. So I'm going to ask Paul Charchian about Cam Ward. Where is he going? Where would Charch look at him in drafts? He's going to join us in about 10 minutes. But we're 2 weeks away from the start of college football. I could not be more excited. The VSiN College Football Betting Podcast, we had 2 episodes this week. Matt Humans joined us earlier in the week. Well, of course, we'll have Matt on every Thursday as we break down every single game on the betting card, as we always do and have done for the last couple of years. But Matt and I talked about his top 25 as well as the Big Ten and some of his best bets. And then later in the week, we talked to Wes Reynolds, talked about the conference that he broke down. Actually, he broke down the Big Ten, I beg your pardon. Humans broke down the SEC. And then JBT and I discussed the Mountain West. But we had Brett Ciancia on earlier today, and he is bullish on Penn State. And I just want to talk a little Penn State here, because this is a team where I don't want to call them polarizing, because they made it to the college football playoff semifinals a year ago, but it feels like Penn State is not getting the rightful respect, and maybe some onto himself. I had Ian Fitzsimmons on the College Football Betting Podcast. We talked to him at Big Ten Media Day, and he said what many of us are thinking. Prove it to me. Let me see it, Penn State, because the fact of the matter is James Franklin against top 10 teams is 1-19. Those are factual statements. But the point that Brett made, and the point that I think is most fascinating about Penn State this year, if not now, when? It really feels that is the case. You've got it at the coordinator position. You went out 2 years ago, and you got the up-and-comer from Kansas and Andy Koltnicki. It's year 2 for him. You went out and you poached the defensive coordinator of the national champion Ohio State Buckeyes, your rival. You pulled Jim Knowles to be your defensive coordinator. Jim Knowles was the big fish that Ohio State pulled away from Oklahoma State. Their defense has cratered since Jim Knowles has left. 2 years in Ohio State, elite defenses, they pulled them away. You've got a returning quarterback in Drew Aller. You've got receivers via the portal that you needed to add, a Kyron Hudson from USC, Pena from Syracuse. And you've got this two-headed behemoth in the backfield in Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. I am not the biggest James Franklin fan. I think he says a lot of stuff that puts his foot in his mouth. He was an absolute dope sitting next to Marcus Freeman, talking like he was his big brother. Yeah, how'd that work out there, Jimmy? Why don't you give the ball to Tyler Warren when it's 1st and goal from the 1 against Ohio State at home? That all being said, the talent is there. And the schedule is quite manageable if you're Penn State. The non-conference is an absolute joke when you play Nevada, FIU, and then, the Pope's team, Villanova. And then you have a bye week before Oregon. You get Oregon at home, whiteout, prime time. Your prayers were answered. I know everyone in the Big Ten always gets upset that their game is at big noon. Well, here you go. Penn State gets Oregon, prime time, Happy Valley, whiteout. And then you have to go on the road to Iowa and Ohio State. Those are two pretty tricky games there for Penn State and Indiana. Look, Indiana's not going anywhere. Kirk Cignetti talks his, stuff all the time, but Indiana's going to be good this year. Are they going to make the playoff again? I don't know. But you could make an argument that they upgraded at the quarterback position, bringing in Fernando Mendoza. Indiana is not a Milli Vanilli one-hit wonder. Indiana's not going anywhere. They're going to be a good football team. So there's a 3-game stretch at Iowa, at Ohio State, home to Indiana, where you're going to learn about Penn State. This is a playoff team. I don't want to say it's a national championship or bust team, but if not now, when? For Jimmy, Big Brother Franklin there, talking down to Marcus Freeman.